How'd you see that one, Ivan?
Yeah, I was really happy with the way we started. Thought that the first half was really good. We were pretty confident that the Dogs were going to be up for this one, and particularly after what happened last week for them. So, second half was a little bit, it was a little bit scrappy, but probably better than some of the other games where it's got a little bit like that for us. So, still got a few young guys still trying to learn to concentrate for 80 minutes and stuff. So, but all in all, thought all things considered, it was a pretty good job today.
Were you happy with the contribution of your back five, and is Dylan Edwards in career best touch?
Yeah, it'd be hard to argue. Yeah, Dill's. I said it a couple of weeks ago, where basically his whole career as a junior and coming through the grades, when he's in good form, he's basically one of our best three or four players every week, and that's been the case this year. So it does an enormous amount of work for our team, stuff that you can see, and there's plenty of stuff that you can't see that he does as well. So yeah, we're definitely happy to have him.
You took Isaiah off, I think, with 20 minutes to go or so. I'm guessing is that a preservation thing, or is that further down the track when you might not have him later in the season?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. He's a little bit. He was a bit crook today, so I can just tell when he's struggling a bit. Like, he had to carry the can a lot for us, especially with Nathan out the first 3 weeks. He's playing 80 minutes every week, and it's not just the 80, but how much he does for us. So I was actually planning to bring him back on, but luckily the game, there was enough distance between the scoreline. So I think any time I can give him a bit of a rest, I think that's going to help.
How did you see it out on the field, Nathan?
Yeah, it was, as Dad mentioned, the first half I thought was really good. I thought they came out to play, and we kind of weathered that early on, and I thought we were playing some good footy, especially in defence, the way we started. Second half just got a little bit ugly. Probably gave them a bit of breathing room through the middle, and they got their tails up, but to then be able to hit back every time they scored points was a positive too, and it's just something to build on. And it's always good to get a win.
The shoulder looked like it got a fair workout. Picked you up and got you a couple of times.
Yeah, it actually feels really good though. Like, compared to last week, I was not even thinking about it at all. It's probably more so my lungs at the moment, just trying to get them back and trying to get that match fitness. So I'm really happy with how it's going, and got to continue to work hard to get it back to 100% where I want it to be and where I want my footy to be.
Can you maybe explain Isaiah's role in the tactical setup there? Because at times in the first half especially, it looked like he was sort of dictating the side of the field that you went to, like a swingman kind of behind the ruck, and Nathan and Jerome were playing a bit further wide. Is that something that he's learned since Nathan's been away, or is it something that he's trying to bring to the game?
I don't know. What do you think? I can't give up too much information, but it's definitely. I think it's fair to say that Nat and Yowie have a really good understanding, and so they can interchange. Like, there was definitely one try there tonight, I think Mardo's try, where it's almost Nathan did Yowie's job. Look, the more you play, the more other teams are going to try and break you down as well. So we're just trying to mix it up as much as we can.
Nathan, is that good for you to know that you can play a little bit further out and maybe do a bit more of the sort of the fun part of footy rather than the telling everybody else what to do part?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I said it last week, having Yowie there is almost like having another halfback. He's got a really good understanding of the game, and we're constantly just checking with each other of what we want to do. And, I think it's kind of up to us to release the rest of the team and let them do our job. And, Yowi's been doing an enormous job of that, not only this year, but the past 2 years. And he's absolutely a freak of a player. For someone that gets through so much work but is constantly thinking a couple of plays ahead, it makes my job a lot easier. And as Dad mentioned again, like, we do have a really good relationship of where we need to go and what needs to be done.
Nathan, you're a halfback who's had a bit of scrutiny on him. I wonder what you made of or whether you had any thoughts on the attention Kyle Fleming caught this week, and also how he reacted to it with his game tonight.
Yeah, from experience, probably would have felt like this week would have felt like a year. It would have felt the longest week ever. He was probably just waiting to get out on the field and actually play. So, I thought he did a really good job. It's hard when there's constant media scrutiny around, and you're always hearing your name on TV and whatnot. But the more you can block that out and just focus on what you need to do, that's the most important thing. And I thought he was pretty solid tonight, and did what he needed to.
There's a level of sympathy when you see a guy going through what the amount of attention he caught this week?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's what we sign up for, and that's just the game we play. And the sooner you realise that, and the sooner you actually come to terms with that, it's always going to be there, and you can't change it. The better it gets. So that's probably my advice to him.
There's probably a lot of attention on Carl because of who his dad is, and you probably have a similar situation. Do you feel that's the reason for him, getting so much attention just because of his surname?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but I think anyone that pulls on the number 7 jersey is always going to be under scrutiny. It's just the way it is, and again, that's just what we sign up for. And I wish him all the best, especially with the position his dad's in. If they have a team up there in the future, it's when we first started, it wasn't the way we wanted to go, but we dug in there, and luckily the last few years have been enjoyable.
And just finally, Ivan, how do you assess the progression of Isaac Tago in the early rounds?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that you can see the talent that he's got. It's not just talent; he's got NRL talent. But you also saw, a young guy who's still trying to, find his way across the 80 minutes, just concentration and, a couple of errors in that second half. But that's part of developing and playing the game. He's really hard on himself. But some of the stuff that every time he got the ball tonight, it looked like something was going to happen. And we'll just keep developing as best we can. But not he's probably got to back off himself a little bit sometimes, because you're actually allowed to make mistakes, especially when you're that young. And when he makes them flat out, and that's what you want.
Thank you.